very exciting, and is what is it that I do as a listing agent? What can I do for you? And some people find this very interesting because it is not the same back home. We have a different way of working here in Mexico, and specifically in Puerto Vallarta and Riviera Nayarit, we are what we call tropicalized. So how does that work? Okay, first thing is, these are going to be the top 10 things that we do. And everything that I do is going to be sure that you are in compliance with the NOM 247. The NOM 247 is from Consumer Protection, which protects the consumer, which would be the person that would be purchasing your home. Of course, you also as the seller, but it's very important that we comply to keep everything legal, perfect, ethical, and correct. So number one, first thing that we do is check the documentation. This is where you're probably going to say, oh my gosh, Tanya, why are you asking me for so many things? Well, when we start to list a property, we get everything that we need to actually sell that property, because I don't take properties that I don't believe that I can sell. If it's a property that I know that can sell, and I'm going to tell you the different reasons why, then we set up from the very beginning of how we're going to sell that property. First thing is to have all the documentation in order. So we go through, we check all of the documentation, make sure that everything's correct, and anything that's not correct, we help you get that in order. Number two is we check the tax exemption possibilities, because most people are going to want to exempt on capital gains. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get a quote from the notary to find out what would your tax situation be if you were to sell, and how we could make that better. So would it be through a strategy? Would it be that you need to get residency if you don't already have it? What is it that legally you can do to be able to exempt taxes in the correct way? Okay. The other thing is sometimes it's things that are very simple, like to make sure that your tax ID number is on your electric bill. There's certain little tricks of the trade that we know, and we do that right from the beginning. That way, when we bring a buyer, we're not sitting there saying, oh, well, now we can't sell for 6 months because we have to do these things. No, we do that in the beginning. Be ready for sell. The next thing is to give you a very clear days on market, how things are going right now. What is the market telling us? We have to listen to the market always. It's not what I say. It's not what the seller says. It's what is the market telling us at this moment. So we really have to make sure that we're listening. So I'm going to say similar properties to yours have been doing this at this cost. Okay. The next thing is comparative market analysis, your CMA. So what I'm going to do is go into the Flex MLS system for Vallarta Nayarit and look at what is sold, what's on the market now, and also what's not sold. These are three really important things, because we don't want to know what's sold, and that's what we want to do. We also want to know what is our competition at this moment, because if we have different prices at different times based on what was sold as to what's on the market now, we have to analyze that. And what was not sold is also very important information. If it didn't sell, why? We need to know that why. That's a big thing. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is number 5, is give you property advice. What do we mean by that? Well, property advice is to maybe declutter. Maybe you have, I don't know, a collection of 100 salt and pepper shakers that are beautiful and you love them. But if we know that we're getting ready to sell the property, the next thing that we're going to do is start to declutter by putting all these things away, wrapping them up, putting them in bubble wrap, and making them ready for your next home. Additionally, photos. I really don't like to bring people into your house when there's photos all over of your family, your kids, and all of that. So if we know that we're going to be selling the property, the best thing is that we take those photos, wrap them up, put them in bubble wrap, put them in a box, and then they're ready for your new home. If you don't want to do that, at least we do that. Meanwhile, that we're taking photos, which I'll get into that in a moment. And fixes. What is it that we need to fix? Because not everybody has the same taste. We want to depersonalize the home so people can imagine themselves living there. For example, let's say that your son has won 15 trophies for soccer. Well, we want to put those away because maybe the people that come to see your house have a son that they would love to play soccer, but he doesn't know how. So we don't want them having trophy envy, if that makes any sense. Or let's say that for example, my home, on my wall, I have the lines of where my children have grown. You know, I mark it with a Sharpie and I put their ages on there, and it's on the wall in my home, and I love it. But everybody else doesn't. They're going to say, why does this woman have Sharpie on her wall? So these are things that we need to depersonalize. For me, it's super important. I painted and I even put a frame around it so that part didn't get framed. But nobody else is going to appreciate that like I do. Next thing is, so now we have a decluttered home. We know the price to put a price correct. And this is not an emotional price. This is not, oh, these are the best cabinets because my husband built them, even though they're crooked. No, this is, what is the market telling us? So we have to listen to the market. Next thing is marketing photos, videos, Matterport, which is the one where it takes you like on a virtual walkthrough. And now we need to put a floor plan in. So it's very clear as to measurements and what's exactly the layout of the property. Now, the most important thing that you get with me, the Get It Done Realtor, is I'm very proactive in marketing. So it's not that I just put the property onto the MLS and hope that a buyer comes. Most likely, it's not going to be me that brings you a buyer. Most likely, it's going to be somebody that I work with. And I have the reputation of working with everybody. I get along with everybody, and I have a great reputation for that. Some people don't like to work with agents that are not certified or AMPI agents, but for me, they have clients that have money to spend just the same way that we do. It's just I make sure that the process goes how it should be gone. So AMPI, which is the Asociación Mexicano de Profesionales Inmobiliarios. That is the Mexican Association of Professional Realtors. So first, we're going to put it on the Flex MLS system, making sure the documentations are well, and I'm going to send that out to the 600 some agents. Now, something additionally that I do is about every 2 weeks, I send out an email to all agents, letting them know and reminding them about your property, because I'm allowed to do this about every 2 weeks. So sometimes I may address it as to the form of a person who wants to be an investor, or I may address it in a way to somebody who has a family. And I try different ways. So whoever's reading that email at that time, maybe it clicks to them, oh, this would be good for this client. Additionally, I use the Vallarta MLS, which is the old school MLS that we have here, which is great because, you know, a lot of people use that. And the biggest thing also is KW Bahia, Keller Williams. I am a Keller Williams agent. I am the luxury director local and the wingman to our national director. And because of this, I know people all over Mexico. I mean, every day I'm talking to people in different, I just got off the phone with somebody in Querétaro who was actually seeing Tony Robbins in the United States. So I keep in close contact because KW, Keller Williams, is like a very close-knit family. I'm also in groups of the top agents from all over the world that we have, you know, a monthly meeting. And this is where I can present projects that people are interested in. So it's very likely that I am not going to find your buyer here. Your buyer may come from somebody in Austin who sends me a referral. I am a referral agent. 9 out of 10 of my clients do come from referrals. And that is a big thing because whenever somebody's looking for something, they call me. So, you know, whether it's a person from Guadalajara or from Canada or from USA or from anywhere in the world, I'm going to reach out in a very proactive way. Another thing is we have our internal system where we send everything out and we talk to each other internally through Facebook groups, through our CRM, through many other ways. And WhatsApp groups. This is a big thing in Mexico. Everybody uses WhatsApp. So I have WhatsApp groups with lots of agents that are not licensed, are not certified. They do not have access to the MLS. So what I do is put everything in a Google Drive, non-branded, and I give them all access. And look for a buyer for your condo or your house or your lot or whatever it is. And, you know, that's just extra advertising. Additionally, there's a lot of other things, but I can't put those on video because those are my trade secrets. I can tell you in person. Now, like I said, when I take a property, it has to be win-win for all. It has to be win for you. It has to be win for me. And it has to be win for the other agent. So the first thing that I'm going to do is set it up to sell. How am I going to do that? I'm going to put another Google Drive, and I'm going to have the legal description and any document that they would need to make me an offer that I can present to you. So how does that work? Immediately we show the property. People are excited. They're all pumped up. They love your place. I'm on my way home and they're like, oh, can you send me the legal description? Now, I may not be going home or back to my office for another 5 hours. So I don't want them to wait. I just want to pull my car over on the side of the road, go into an OXXO, get myself a nice glass of water, a bottle of water, and send them the Google Drive link so they can immediately be sending us an offer. So that is my mindset. My mindset is always, we're going to sell. Additionally, we have to work as a team. I am a team with my sellers. How does that work? If I do my part and you don't do your part, it doesn't work. So what is your part? Your part is to price them properly, accept that the price is correct. Number 2 is to whatever we need to do. Maybe we need to paint the wall that, you know, the marks of the children growing on are on there. Maybe there's a leak and it has salitre, which we get in Mexico, and we need to scrape that and get that mold off of the wall and, you know, have it nice, because nobody really wants to buy a property with mold. We need to get it fixed before we show the property. And also, I will give you 24 hours notice when we're going to show the property. So an agent will call me and say, hey, can I come show the property tomorrow at 3? And I'll say, let me get back with you. Then I will go to you, the seller, and say, can I show your property tomorrow at 3? Then you either tell me yes or no, and you say, maybe at 3 I can't because I'm having lunch with a friend at that time in my apartment, and we could do it at 5. And I said, okay. So then I go back to the agent and say, we can do it at 5. Does that work for you? And I try to make it work for everybody because we just want as many people as we can in. Obviously, we want vetted clients. We don't want just anybody coming in. I'm not going to just open the door to anybody to come in. I'm going to know who they are or who their agent is. And then there's special things. For example, if I know that you're in a condominium that doesn't allow pets, I'm going to make sure that that agent read the notes that said, this is a no pet building, because there's no sense in them bringing us a buyer who has pets if they can't buy, because nobody's going to get rid of their fur babies for, you know, buying a condo. They're just going to look someplace else. Additionally, let's say that there's a lot of steps, because there's places here with great views, but you need to go up and down 50 steps to get there. So I'm going to make sure that they know that. So people with mobility issues don't come and stand there and say, oh, I can't go down those steps. These are different things that I'm going to make sure before we make the appointment, so I'm not wasting your time, because I want to bring in people that are ready, willing, and able to invest in your property. Maybe they want an Airbnb opportunity and there's rental restrictions in your place that you can only rent for minimum a month or 3 months. Well, this is not probably the property for them. I need to make sure that their agent knows that. And lastly, for this video, there's many more things that I do, but for this video, number 10 is I'm going to give you a report and feedback. So when I put, you know, on all the websites, and I put it on many, many websites, I don't just tell you that I do that. I give you an Excel form with the link for each of those properties. So you just click on that link and you know that I have set up properly your property for sale with the information that's correct based on what you have given me. So we go over that. I also let you know every time somebody comes in, I'm going to ask them for feedback. Now, not all the agents give feedback, maybe because they're busy, or maybe because they just don't want to, because they may want to put in an offer and they don't want to let us know yet. But I will contact each and every one and find out what the client thought. Now, if the client told me 15 times, I think that the property is overpriced, we need to listen to that. If the client says, we love it, but we don't like the one wall that's painted purple, we need to listen to that. Now, not if 1 or 2 people say it, but if it's a pattern and if it's a repeated thing, I'm going to bring this to your attention and say, this is what the market's telling us. And we always need to listen to the market, because at the end of the day, that's who the buyers are. So I will also tell you, you know, we had this time and this time, this is who came, this is what they said, you know, all of those things. So you get a report. And this report I send to you as you want me to send it, because some people prefer that I send it once a month. Other people, every time there's a showing, they want me to send them a message and tell them what happened. So I'm going to ask you, how do you want me to communicate with you so I adapt to your needs instead of you adapting to mine? Does that make sense? So there's lots of extra things. There's lots of secrets that I may put in another video, or I may just keep them until we have a one-on-one conversation. But I'm Tanya Dorsey, the Get It Done Realtor for Keller Williams. And I'd love the opportunity to have a one-on-one with you to see if I'm the right agent to list your property. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.